to the topic of the discussion and hit the issues you typically find reluctant. Remove the facade to fill the gap with some substance. We undermining problems, expecting to overcome it. Please hold the applause. We doing it for the cause. People follow culture before they follow the laws. We rather face the friction and not attempt it at all. Persistence will find solutions once our contentment dissolves. There's a hard pill to swallow for anyone breathing, both for folks who stay woke and those who be dreaming. We ain't slaves, yet we still ain't experienced freedom. What we need is the keys to access the kingdom. We're all in this fallen world trying to stay intact. I'm just a beggar, point you out to where the bread is at. So follow the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel. Thank Yogi Bear and the thought engineer for that on Monday. It's Man Talk Monday.
Woo! Once again, it's on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Back in the house, bro. Back in the house.
We are back. It is good to be here today.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, bro. Yes, it is. We got a holiday this weekend. Yes.
Yeah. We got a long weekend.
Yes.
Hey, we got the pastor watching, Pastor Sam. He said, "Can I get a laugh?" We're gonna work on it. We're gonna say good evening, Miss Teresa.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody that just popped on. Thank you for joining us. I am Derek, the Thought Engineer, here with my man, comedian John Yogi. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. I'm just glad to be here on this fine Monday, making sure that Monday stays here and don't follow me until tomorrow. Well, that'll be Tuesday. I'm just glad. Hey, I'm ready to get this show going, man. What about you guys? Everybody good?
Yeah, man. Doing good. I gotta say, happy anniversary to my boo thing, my booski, my wife of 13 years. We're celebrating 13 years today.
Derek gonna have some sex. Anniversary, birthdays, all that. Bruh, you better write this down.
Boy, you crazy. Well, as usual, I got to remind everybody what we do here. This is Man Talk Mondays. It's an open forum where we talk about everything from religion to politics to relationships. But of course, we're doing this is not just for men. We want everybody to participate, men, women, boys, and girls. You're welcome to join the conversation. Let us know how you feel, what you think, the whole nine. How you do this, you go in the comments, drop your comment, drop your question. We can see this, and this is how you talk to us, right? So by all means, we want to hear from you, right? If you got something to say, speak up so we can hear you, all right? But we won't prolong the time, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, Man Talk Monday News.
Welcome to Man Talk News Monday with your boy, John D. Blackman. And today's top story, you actually gonna put all that booty in those pants? I was at a concert a couple of weeks ago, and I have never seen so many confident women in my life. Listen, confidence is a good thing. I'm glad y'all are confident. I want you to be confident, but sometimes too much confidence can be too much booty in those pants. If you trying to squeeze in pants that's two-sided, too small, you're going to have booty hanging everywhere. Bootylopoulos. Listen, I love booty just like the next man. I just don't like seeing a bundle of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I love your confidence. Ladies, I do. Ladies, I love your confidence. But knowing when to say when is key. Listen, man, John D. Blackman. And remember, know when to say when. Good evening and good night.
Pastor might need to watch another show.
Oh no, did you get the laugh, Pastor? We want to know if you got the laugh.
This might not be the show for Pastor.
They started already. Yeah, so you're right. John D. Blackman is right. Sometimes people take the companies way too far. Way too far.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna do it, at least keep it at the house. You know?
That's all I ask.
But it's all about body positivity these days, right?
See, I'm not trying to body shame nobody. Do that in your house, though. Do that in your house. I'm not trying to see. But again, I've said what I had to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, like, share, subscribe. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. Go and subscribe. Also, subscribe to our podcast. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, all your favorite podcast platforms. Make sure you go and check us out and subscribe there. Subscribe to our podcast. So anytime we put up a new episode, you get an alert and you can go back and you can listen anytime you feel like it. While you're cooking your greens, while you're riding in your car, going to work, going to pick up the kids, whatever you got to do, you can listen. All right. So now we have our segment called Man Talk About It. And normally we talk about topics, but we do letters. So if you have a letter, if you have an issue that you want us to talk about, question, concern that you want us to discuss, you can just simply send an email to mantalkmondays1@gmail.com. All right. Send your emails there. mantalkmondays1@gmail. So we have a letter today. A guy wrote us a letter. So I'm going to read the letter so we can get into it. And it reads, "Hey fellas, I remember y'all said something about writing in if you have a situation we want y'all to talk about. I really just have a question. How do two people who have been together for so long grow apart? Me and my wife are about to finalize our divorce after 13 years. And I'm just trying to figure out what happened. I did all I thought I was supposed to do. I took care of the house and the bills. I spent time with the kids, and I didn't run around. But she came to me talking about how she's not happy. Women say they want a good man, but when they get one, they throw him away. She went back to school and got her degree, and I took care of everything while she went to school, but now she treats me like she too good for me. I found out she was cheating on me, and I still wanted to work things out, but she still decided to leave. How does this happen when I did all the right things?" Signed, Hurt and Confused. Hurt and confused. I'll let you go ahead, brother.
Okay. So I am also hurt and confused because his brother says that he did everything that he could. But let me first do my prerequisite by saying most of the times when we write these letters and stuff, we're either you're either the hero or the victim. And I'm not sure. It sounds like the brother feels like that he was the victim of some wrongdoing. Now, if she was having relations with somebody else, that was while you guys were together, now she was dead wrong. I'm kind of wondering. You said you guys have been together 13 years. I'm just trying to figure out, when y'all young, when y'all got together, because most of the times the mind that you have when you in your 20s changes when you in your 30s. And some of the, especially when you go to school and you're around educated people, man, you gotta be careful, because that breeds that has your mind thinking a completely different way. And the more people that you are around that are like that, it attracts you to them. Now, I'm not giving her no excuse because she's a low down dog. I'm not giving her no excuse because she's wrong. Because if you guys had an agreement that you were supposed to stay at the house while she pursue her degree, that's an agreement and understanding you guys had, and she has to honor that. And if things change, now she has to honor that and say somebody as well. But now my question is for you: you didn't know that she was changing, because it didn't happen all of a sudden. Once she started getting them credits under her belt, did she start looking down at you then? Because she didn't get her degree and do it. She started doing it gradually because her friends started changing. Listen, your surroundings start changing, because once you start going to school and people that's not, you generally hanging around people that minds are constantly going. Because that's one thing about education, it has your mind completely going. That's why I skipped all that. I didn't want no parts of that. But this particular lady right here, her environment changed. And if you don't adapt with her environment, she's going to leave you. I've seen it too many times where the woman going to get her, she's going to school to get smarter. If that husband doesn't follow, he's going to be left behind. He's going to be feeling a certain kind of way.
But shouldn't he feel a certain kind of way though? I mean, he's trying to make sure she has the space to do this. He's taking care of things where she doesn't have to double down and all this, you know.
But
so
why,
where's the appreciation though?
But why does she want to do it, D? If everything was good at home, why would she want to do it? Why would she want to feel like that she had to? Listen, I get there a personal thing that we all want to accomplish in our lives. I get that. But perhaps if that had been answer me this, D. If she had her degree when they met, would they have got married? No, she wouldn't have married him. She would have married somebody that was at school or somebody that she felt like was on her intellectual level. She wouldn't have married him. No, she would not have.
So is there a precaution though that men should take whenever women start improving themselves, or not even just a husband? I mean, if the other person, if the spouse or some starts improving themselves, is there a precaution that the other person should take, considering what you just said?
But we don't pay attention to the signs, D. Now listen, because he could have educated himself by not being he didn't have to go to school. He could have started reading. He should have started doing something, because she started changing. And listen, she might have said something to him about it, but he took for granted that, oh, this is my baby, she good. No, people change. People change, and what made me fall in love with you 13 years ago may not still be the same thing that keeps me in love with you. Because most of the time, what we love about people, he loved that she was probably snooty acting until she was snooty to him, and then he wanted to choke her.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no. I believe she gave him signs and he just didn't pay attention to him. I believe there were signs there that he ignored.
Because he was busy working, man. Teresa says growing apart is one of my biggest fears in marriage. And I think for a lot of people, that's a fear that they have. What happens when I wake up one day and this person that I've dedicated my life to say they don't want me no more?
You know what the funny thing about that is when I started doing comedy, I started doing acting. I was acting, doing stage plays and movies and stuff like that. This is real talk. And my wife started doing it with me. She wasn't no good, didn't have the desire to do it. But because I was doing it and it piqued my interest, she started doing it with me.
Hold on. Did you say she wasn't no good?
Oh no, I didn't. No.
Yeah. Yeah,
no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Did I say that? You know how you have some in your head. Well, she really got better.
What'd you look at the door for, man? He watching the door now.
but she had no interest in it. Real talk. She had no interest in it.
I get what you're saying. And it wasn't her thing.
It wasn't her thing, but because I was showing interest in it, she wanted to make sure she was a part of that.
And that makes sense. So we're saying you should take interest in what the other person desires to do.
Absolutely should.
Monique says, we can only speak from what is stated in the letter. It seems like a lot more happened in the marriage that may not be stated. Yes, people change as they get older. I wish they could have worked through it.
Well, but you have to want to, don't you?
Yeah, that's a vital component. The desire to actually make it work is important. Yeah. Which brings us to the topic at hand. All right, marriage and relationships. Why is staying together so hard? Marriage and relationships. Why is staying together so hard?
I think it's supposed to be hard, though. I think the misconception is that if two people love each other, it's supposed to be easy, and we're supposed to just look at each other and be just daydreaming about, girl, you know, I just can't think about nothing else with you. I just can't do it. I'm trying. I just can't think about nothing with you. But if that was what it was like, then everybody would stay married. Anything worth having is worth a struggle for, or being difficult for. Because, dude, this relationships are one of the hardest things you can ever be in. Because you know, go ahead, you got something?
No, you're right. It's like we expect a lot of things to be hard and difficult, but when it comes to relationships, we want those to be easy. And anything that, if you plan on it being successful, if you plan on it, you know, lasting a long time or whatever, it's going to require work. But it seems like when it comes to relationships, we got a real short limit on what we do to actually work on it.
You know, one of the things we don't do is have grandmothers and parents that have been married for long periods of time. We don't never sit back and go talk to them and ask them before we get into relationships about how difficult it is to be married. And because they take it for granted, because grandmama and them been married for 40, 50 years. Y'all been married for 30 years. Y'all been married 13 years. And people are like, oh, man, I want what y'all got. They don't understand that it's days that you wake up, you want to just put the pillow over Selena's head like this so she don't wake up. I get it. I get it. But they don't understand. They don't understand. Some days she want to run over you with the car. I get it.
Pastor Sam says, Jesus does not change. Commitment is not based on if I am happy. I would have to agree with him. And I think I've said before, that's something that's missing in our society, in our culture. Commitment is not something we value anymore. And the commitment changes you. The commitment makes you work. But if I know I have an out, and here's the thing about it. If I know I have an out, as soon as it gets hot in there, as soon as it gets tough, you are going to take the exit if you give yourself that out.
But it just depends on what your plans were before the relationship actually started. It just depends on whether or not you had plans to stay. If that was what, you know, when we get into relationships are for different things. Some people just want some comfort. Some people just want people there to listen to them talk to. Some people just want a pet, and when they got into a relationship and it ain't working, that the guy keep talking back or the girl keep talking back and the dog won't. People get into relationships for the wrong reasons, and we are left to assume that everybody gets into it for the same thing, and that's just not the case.
Teresa says, tell him to let her go. If you have done all you could, let it go. My grandma used to say, when you see a hog wallowing in the mud, be careful getting it out too fast and cleaning it up, because that hog one day will forget you took them from the mud pen and helped put them in a clean house. So you still dealing with the same animal, but you took things to try to, where they're changed on the outside, but there's not really a difference on the person internally, which goes to say, what was it about you that made you go pick up that hog?
And so wait, so the pig is still a pig, right? We can expect the pig to go back to the trough or the food or the slop or wherever you go. Again, what is it about you that thought you could rescue or save that pig? Because if it was me, I'll heal is bacon and pork chops to me. But to you, you wanted more. You thought people get into relationships for different reasons. You trying to sound like you trying to save somebody. Sounds like you doing it for some personal things or some personal thing that you can brag about. Look at what I did, rather than I love him or her, and we're gonna do this thing together.
So let me ask this: is it unfair to a person that you decide to be with, and you base your decision on where you are? And then a few years down the road, you make up in your mind you're gonna make a change. And that change could possibly take you away from that person. Is it not fair to that person? Because in the moment, you made this decision based on where you were in that moment. But eventually down the road, you got tired of being that person. And so you make the decision to change. You go through the process to change. And now, is it unfair to that person?
But wait, this ain't pillow talk, though. This ain't the kind of stuff that, you know what, baby, I was thinking of the other day. I want to do better. I want to do better. I want to do better by you. I want to do better by me. I think there's so much more of me that I hadn't even tapped into. I want to do better. And you say, do you feel like that sometimes? No, I'm good. I just want to play PlayStation. Okay. But again, she's trying to tell you, I just think those are conversations that need to be had. Because before you catapult and go into something else, you taking me with you. I got to go with you. My role is going to change at the house. I got to start watching kids now. I got to start doing something that I wasn't doing in order to help you, to help support you in what you're doing. How am I not a part of that decision? Because my life is going to change too.
Pastor Sam says she'll be sorry. I can hear him saying it. But when you think about it, because I heard a guy say, most people don't achieve what they really want in life because they settle for what they can have in that moment. So when you look at relationships, at one point you felt like this was all you could have. So you go and get this person, and then because this person is loving on you and they make you feel a little bit better about yourself, and you use that confidence to make this change. So you saying that you should have that conversation, or that person should have that conversation to say, hey, I'm feeling like, kind of give them warning. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm basically saying, man, that when you're in relationships and you're talking to people will tell you most of the time everything you want to know. But we got to pay attention to it. If she's settling for you, you will get the feeling that she probably settling for me. It ain't gonna be no black man. Again, we get in relationships and we put on our rose-colored glasses and say love gonna conquer all, and it doesn't. What they do right in front of you is a telltale sign. If she loves you, you will know it. If she's using you, you'll know it. If she whatever, and when I say he or she, I mean I'm talking about relationships. When people do stuff in front of you, that's who they are. And we don't want to see people for who they are. We want to see people for who we want them to be. That's what we'd rather do anyway.
Ivan says all is fair in love and war. He said that's right, John. So Ivan agrees with you. Teresa says she will regret it. Karma is real. You do sow what you reap. Reap what you sow. That is true. You reap what you sow. And my thing is, why can't you be happy with that person? Why don't you give them the opportunity to make changes?
Because I don't want them to. I don't want to be in a relationship. I seen something better out there. I seen a guy or a woman that dresses how I want you to dress. She got that swag. She kind of sexy. She wear her like I like it. And I gotta, and you know, because after we get married, there's a level of comfort that we go into, and there's nothing like being with seeing somebody new, and what you get that feeling again, and that's what you got. Now, listen, man, there is no feeling like something new. When you and your wife, when you go ahead, please.
No, you got a point. There's no feeling like something new, but that's deceptive because that new thing becomes old, and you end up chasing,
trying to get that high back.
That feeling.
Yes,
you chasing a feeling.
Yes, absolutely.
And really, you're talking about an ideal that I don't want to say doesn't exist, because it's not the thing that satisfies you. It's the emotion behind what the pursuit that satisfies you.
But most of the things that we crave in our life, how long do they last? Let's just be honest. How long do they last? How long do they last? When you get mad, when you dating, that whole, oh my God, I can't think about nothing else. How long does that last before the marriage or relationship actually starts? And we get caught up in that. Just like we get caught up in the sex. How long does sex actually start? Even if he climbing off the top rope, or she hanging you and choking you out till you pass out, eventually that's gonna get old, and it's gonna have to be something else.
Now you bring up a good point. You're talking about what's driving the relationship, and I've made an observation. A lot of times, the requirements we have on the people we sleep with are a lot less than the requirements we have on people we do life with.
Listen, you work harder at trying to get the draws than you do after you've gotten them. Because I have succeeded when I have got the draws. So once I have done that, and listen, and when I say that, I'm talking about him draws and her draws. I have succeeded once I got him or her like I want to, and now I can kick back because I've gotten what I came in the relationship for. Because we assume people want what we want in a relationship, and they do. Most of the time, they don't. They don't. Either they want security, they want booty, they want the bag, they want something.
I would say you preaching, John. Monique says some men, women start to feel like they're missing out on something. They're selfish and want what they want instead of sticking to the vows, their mate. Now, here's something about what Monique just said. They feel like they're missing out on something. Do you think we got too many options these days? Because I heard a lady say, she's a psychologist, and she said, when we lived in the small village or the little small town and our options were few, once we got it, we probably had 1 to maybe 5 choices. But once we got that person, we were typically kind of satisfied. But she says with the increase in choices comes the discontent that I may be missing out. We got too much at our disposal these days?
Yes, man. As long as you can see somebody else, you know what they should do? They should, when you get married, they should just pull your eyes out so y'all ain't never be able to look at nobody else. You got to be blindfolded for most of the day. You got to wear them glasses where you can't see them more. Dude, because you're going to always, listen, somebody's going to have something. For example, and I often talk about sex, but what if it ain't sex? What if it's seeing another guy provide for his wife the way he can't provide for you? Now you lusting after something else. Yeah. What if a woman is what you heard that a woman is waiting on this man hand and foot, and you can't get your wife to wash dishes? Now you want and desiring that when that's not what made you fall in love with her. That's not, you knew she couldn't cook when you told her to go cook, and she went in there and made a sausage with some sausage sandwich for breakfast sausage with some French fries, and that was her best meal. You knew she couldn't cook dead. And you was still like, oh, I just love her so much. I just love her. I do. I love her. No. No.
Ivan said deception for sure. That's the enemy's job. Now, what you said goes with what I'm saying. There's something about we don't put the requirements out there for life. We put sex before life, and now the requirements are low for sex. But for life, we want all this stuff, but we never check to see if they have all this stuff before we make such a commitment to have sex with them. Teresa said, hold on. Teresa says, remember the Tyler Perry movie Temptation? That a real life example of a woman leaving a good man to something new, but it was not right. I do remember that movie, and it was an illustration, and she ended up paying for that dearly.
Yeah, but most of the time we're driven by the lust of things that we want and that we can have and that we can obtain. The flesh will never be satisfied, and as long as we're led by our flesh, we're not gonna never be satisfied with nothing, no matter what she's doing. You'll never be satisfied with it because you'll want it until you got it. There's nothing like a woman. I never forget I was in high school and I was with this real bad girl in school. My old girlfriend had seen her. And she was like, I'm going to do whatever I can to get him from her. And she did it. She got me from this real fine girl that later became some. And then once she got me, she treated me like trash, y'all. Trash. She could care less about because she had accomplished what she was wanting to do. And my stupid self, I was so caught up in the whirlwind that she had me in. By the time I looked up, she had been gone.
Ivan says we assume because we fail to communicate effectively. And here's the thing. One thing about this communication, we take communication steps out of order. We go straight to the highest level of communication, which is sex. And then we try to come back and communicate steps 1, 2, and 3, and 4. It doesn't work like it. We get it out of order. And now we end up taking on somebody because lo and behold, what if you get pregnant? I was listening to a conversation the other day and they were talking about how, people make bad choices. And this young lady gets on there and she talks about how she was like, yeah, my baby daddy, I had to leave him alone because he didn't want nothing out of life and all of this. And everybody just kind of paused and was like, hold up. Did you say your baby daddy? Now, how he become your baby daddy, but he ain't worth nothing to you?
Because when she got into the relationship with him, she didn't want nothing from him. She wanted what she got, and that was a baby. She wanted what she got. Man, listen, we fail to find out what drives us or more pushes us in relationships. What do you want from this relationship? We too busy trying to hurry up and get out our clothes before we start talking about stuff that really matters. But in all fairness, again, everybody don't want a relationship when they get into it, and you almost forced into it. She gets pregnant, or you start catching feelings when you really weren't supposed to, and you kind of forced into trying to make things a relationship. And if she agrees with you or he agrees with you, now the thought in his mind, this ain't really what I wanted. It's not really what I wanted. It's not really what I wanted. But she pregnant, she got a kid, or he real good in bed. This is what I want. Oh, people don't go into it with the right mindset, man. You have to change your mentality when you're ready for relationships. You have to change that.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Because there's a whole big different world when you start talking about being in a relationship with somebody. Ivan said, that's it, John. What motivates you? Mika says, finally, John is talking with good sense. LOL. That's the problem. Some feel like they're missing out. Ain't nothing out there. Ivan said the grass looks real green from across the fence line.
Listen, most of us are not satisfied. Most of us are not content in the state that we in. Can we just be 100, y'all? Most of us not content, but we got sense enough to know I better sit my behind right here and I better not move or say nothing. I know when I got it good and I got it really good. If we be honest, most people are not content in the state that they're in relationships. Most people not, but that's normal. But you better be able to talk yourself down. Fool, you better sit down somewhere. you better sit your behind down because you ain't gonna get it like this. I don't care how curvy and wavy, and she looking at you with them. They got the eyelashes coming out like this now. I don't care how the short hair with the look. I don't care how all that look to you. You better sit down somewhere.
But do we have enough people telling us to do that?
No.
When it comes to, because this is a huge thing, the people you have around you is very key to making a relationship work. But if you got people telling you, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't put up with that. Oh, girl, leave him. Or man, dude, I would.
Listen, as much as we want to blame it on somebody else, you need to have your boat high. You have sense that God gave a squirrel. Listen, it's failed relationships all over. Every time a relationship fails, that's another example for what your behind should not be doing. I don't need you to tell me, John, you better stay with Cheryl because she'll go on. Nigga, I know. Excuse me. I know she's a good woman. I got all her. Let me break down. So then you go ahead and.
Oh my goodness, that was funny.
I'm just simply saying, I know.
Communicating is out of order. You're right. We're out of order with the communication, but our support system is very key. The people we have around us. And I think we have made this thing to where we rely on that one person that we're in that marriage, that relationship with, to satisfy everything about us, our friendship, confidant, all this type of stuff. When sometimes we need people around that we can talk to outside, but you need to make sure you're getting good information from those people. Let me get Pastor Sam says the forbidden, whatever you chase after loses its value after you get it. Absolutely right, because it's not the thing about the thing you were chasing. It was the feeling that you were after, not the thing.
They say this for a reason. You're only good as the people that you surround yourself with. They say that for a reason. Because if you're around a bunch of single guys and you the only married guy, you headed for destruction. If you only marry a woman around a bunch of single women, it's not gonna be good because you're gonna want to hang with them. And they're gonna go to places where single people go to meet people.
Yeah.
And you gotta be smarter a lot of times than your circumstance. I gotta get some more friends. Because all y'all, I'm not looking. Hey, now that's if you're not looking for what they're looking for. And you gotta be smart because a lot of times we looking for that. It's funny. See, the misconception is we play with that. We play with that kind of stuff, and that stuff ain't to be played with. Do you know that your lust has ruined more things than you can even imagine? How can you even play with it? Listen, I know I like to look at. No, wait, let me back it up. No, let me say this. People are lying if they tell you that people don't like to see appealing people, attractive people. They lying. Everybody likes to. I enjoy it. Oh, she's pretty. Everybody like that. But even that has to be in context, y'all. Even that has to be in context. You got to control. See, we don't want to control ourselves, D. Sit your behind down somewhere and read some books or do something to help you be better. D, can you what's the name of your book? Can I read your book to get better?
Paula calling Cheryl. Mika said that's right. Your circle is so important.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely.
Abigail says, I hear my girlfriends get on these dating apps and they're upset because everyone wants is sex. Guys run away once my girlfriends tell them what they actually want. I'll be curious to know what they actually want. Alvin said, nah, go ahead, John. These jokers need some straight talk. We too soft with it sometimes. Don't encourage him, Ivan. Don't encourage him. All right, Pastor say you made me laugh, so we achieved it. We made Pastor laugh. So
I'm just simply saying we have to be smarter about some of the decisions that we make. Listen, for every failed relationship that you've been in, you played a part in that. You can listen. I can blame it on old girl or anybody else, but I made a decision that I want to go with this. So when it fails, I can't be mad. Or you start treating me like a dog. A dog just run over me and kick me. I can't be mad because I played a role in that.
You know, everything about our society these days is set up for us to not feel the full weight of the consequences from our decisions. And I think that's the problem, because it's the consequences that makes you think twice. It's the consequences that make you make better decisions. When my mama used to whoop my behind, she used to tear me up. I had to think about what I did and think about the consequence. I didn't want that again. So I had to change my behavior so I wouldn't end up in that situation again.
Listen, there ain't no feeling in the world, D, like you want somebody and they don't want you back.
Wow.
Ain't no feeling in the world like, and brother, and believe me, I grew a full beard and I was in about 22 years old. I grew a full beard, laid on the couch for about 2 weeks straight because there's no feeling in the world like it. And so if we would educate ourselves and make, it's funny, man. We'll go into a relationship any kind of way and we want the best out of it. We'll drag all kind of issues and stuff in it and we want the very best out of it.
Do we go into marriage to fail? I get relationships, because relationships, you have an out because you really not locked in. But when you marry, you got people who've been giving up on marriage. You got the Currys after 30 some years, regardless of how long the foolishness had been going on, but still 30 some years of marriage. And now you decide to break it off or cut it off. So many people are making that decision now. And it's like, what is it that we can't get past? We can't work through. We can't work out.
Okay. My pride on the table. Now I can get past my thing. Now, I can't get past you, doing this or doing that. I can't get past it. My pride won't. And hey, people are going to be talking about me. So I can't let you get away with that.
Teresa says, Derek and John, I lost a childhood friend because she was man to man, club to club, and married. Then my husband said something. I had to let her know I'm married and I can't be with you doing this mess. I won't call her name because she is from my hometown. Yeah, you ain't gotta
call her name. It's 30 of them. It's 30 of them right around here. You ain't got to listen. She ain't got to be from your hometown. Folk do it all the time. You ain't got to be calling nobody's name. No. But now we don't get in a relationship to fail, D. We don't get it to fail. We just don't get it to succeed.
Oh, well, if you're gonna talk about it, talk about it.
We get in those type of relationship and marriage to get what we want out of it. At first, it's love, but after a few years, it changes. Well, if I can just get this, or if I can get that, if I can get this, and somewhere along the way, you look back and you try to figure out where did love go. Love was in here somewhere. Now I'm just trying to accomplish stuff. I'm just trying to accomplish things I can be proud of that I done for myself. Then I can look and say, "Hey, y'all, look at this, look at that." But love gets lost in us somewhere, man. You do not start in relationships. You got to make yourself stay in love with somebody. You got to make yourself.
But because when you get in a marriage or even a relationship, you can't go in with the same mind. You got to change. You got to shift. Before, I used to just find something for me to eat. I used to just cook for me. But now it's me and my wife. I find something for us to eat. I cook for both of us. And it's like we don't make that shift in our mindset to consider every decision I make affects two people. And I'll never forget, I heard a pastor say one time, he says, when you make a decision in a marriage, you cannot make a decision beyond your spouse's pain point. It may be something you're fine with, but you got to examine their pain point. If it's a problem for them, you got to reconsider. You can't just push forward, because now you causing pain, and that discomfort would cause nothing but problems in your relationship, in your marriage.
But if the people that you're around, if your parents are telling you, your mom is telling you, girl, you got to do this, or son, you got to do this. You got to make sure you right. You got to make sure you good. That's why, to go back to the point earlier, it's important about the people that you have surrounding you. It's really important, guys. If we cannot reiterate that enough, because you're going to need to hear every now and then, hey, baby, remember what made you fall in love with it. Remember what made you fall in love with it. Remember, now it's just not you, it's both of y'all. Now, hey, ain't no one splitting the bills up and you pay your half and I pay my half. We have one account. We can have different things going side, but we won now. We won.
Yeah. Laura says, love is taking a backseat to every other emotion. People are looking for security, looks, fame, lust, and it's temporary fixes that are not lasting. I don't even know if people necessarily believe in love. And here's why. Because we relegated love to this emotion that makes us feel a certain way about somebody, when love is a behavior and a commitment.
Yeah, but D, that's the society that we live in today. Listen, they started DoorDash. They started bringing food out to your car. They started doing all that. You ain't even got to come in the store now. We're bringing it out to your car. They made everything convenient for you, because we don't want you to we don't want you to be inconvenienced at all. Well, let me let y'all in on a little secret. Love is inconvenient, because love don't have nothing to do with you. It don't have nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with that person that you're in love with. And if you love them and you marry them, you're going to find that out. You're going to find that out sooner than later. Doggone it. It's about her again. Doggone it. It's about him again. Yes, that's what love is. Love is inconvenience. Y'all better get that.
And it works better when Teddy P. What Teddy P say? Feels so good. Loving somebody.
And somebody
loves you back.
You better say that, boy.
And
you
that's
better
a fact. Say that. And that's a fact.
Hey, listen, he wouldn't have made a song about it if it was happening to everybody.
Right. And there is a certain amount of risk that goes with it anyway.
Yeah.
To think that you're going to find somebody and all the boxes going to be checked and everything, to where you're going to have this problem-free, worry-free, it's love all the time relationship, you are fooling yourself. Finding the one is more about understanding that these are the dynamics I'm going to have to face, and I'm going to go through it with this person, rather than finding somebody to help me avoid these dynamics. There are certain things that are just built in relationships. They're built into marriage. You're talking about two different minds, trying to come together. You come from two different backgrounds, the whole nine, and you're trying to come together to make something work and come together as one. It's not going to always vibe. And there's going to be friction. Anytime you got two people moving together, there's going to be friction. There's friction in a relationship just because we're around each other all the time. There is something called a trust account. And the trust account basically says you got to manage the number of transactions. Meaning, the more I interact with you, the more withdrawals are happening. So if I'm never depositing anything in, then I'll end up at a deficit or bankrupt in this relationship. And this is why people that we don't talk to all the time, we got a good friend that you don't talk to but every 3-4 months, and it seems like once you talk to them, you can pick up right where you left off, as opposed to the person you see every day who getting on your nerves. Why? Because your interaction, your transactions are high.
You know, D, we check our accounts on with our bank. We check our bank accounts every day. We don't check on our love accounts every day. We don't check on how our relationships going every day.
Yeah.
Our money is way more important to us than our relationships are. If your money is important to you, you can wake up and take it every day. You should be doing the same thing with your relationships. We have been married for 30 years, and I know my wife has changed 10 times. She's been 10 different people. And what do we do? Because I check the account, I just adjust to what's in the account. I listen, if you know you got $20 in your account and that purse that candy gonna cost you 18, you ain't gonna get that candy. But if you ain't checking your account, you're gonna be doing stuff that the account can't handle. It can't handle that, and you're gonna be doing stuff, and then you're gonna be in the red. And then now she fussing, she cussing, and now she looking at somebody else because you ain't paying attention to the account.
So let me help somebody tell you what this looks like. All week you've been doing your own thing. You sit down on the couch, you ignore, you don't have that conversation with her, you don't talk to them, and then you check the account. You know she feeling some kind of way, and here your friends want to go out to go to sports bar, watch a game.
Mm-hmm.
You got a decision to make. Just like John just said, if you got $20 in the bank, there are certain things you're not gonna be able to do. It's the same way with the account. Mm-hmm. If you haven't made the deposits during the week, when it's time to go out with your boys on Saturday to go hang out and kick it, guess what? You don't have the funds to make that type of decision.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're gonna overdraft real bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Teresa says, I'm not about jeopardizing my marriage. I try to be better each day. People don't want to put the work into a marriage. They rather leave or cheat. Marriage relationships are beautiful to be in, but don't be afraid of it. Just enjoy the journey together. I can't read, can't talk.
Well, the thing about what's so crazy about cheating is you just inviting another person to get in that relationship trouble that you have. Now you just invited some more stuff to come into a relationship when you could have just fixed the one you got with her. The crazy thing is like none fixes a relationship like another one. Fool, because you ain't nothing but a fool. Listen, there's no better way to practice than with the one you with. There's no better way to practice on how to be better than with the person that you're with. Because they're going to be honest with you. If they feel any kind of way for you, they're going to be honest because they want you to be better. They want you to be better for you. And you know what? It ain't even about the person that you're with sometimes. Can you just be better for you? Because you a mess. You a mess. Can you just do better for you? Because if you do better for you, I'm going to be so happy with the person that I'm with. And we always looking at somebody else to fix the mess. You fix the mess because you're the mess. You fix it. You be the one to keep the relationship together. Stop depending on that other person. You be the one. Because you said it was worth it. You said that. I ain't said it. You said that. You said I don't want to look at nobody else. You the one. You said that. I ain't said that. You said that.
You know, it's like antiques. When the antique first came out, it was the hot new thing. You know, everybody wanted it. But it went through a period of time where it wasn't worth nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But for the people who took care of it,
mm-hmm.
the longer they held on to it, it became invaluable after a certain period of time. But you had to wait it out. You had to go through that period where it wasn't really worth nothing. And most people won't hang on. We quick to sell. We quick to give up. We quick to toss it out and throw it in the trash. But if we hold on to it, that value will increase and you have something that's priceless. You have something that other people want. It's valuable, but we don't hold on that long.
Because when you jump to the next hot thing, generally you come away with the next hot thing. And you're down at the doctor's office. You're at the clinic.
Burning them.
I'm just saying, man. Oh, come on, man. We gotta take better care of ourselves, man. Yeah. Anything worth having is worth working for. Anything worth having.
Yeah, I don't think we put that message out in society. Period. We get participation trophies. Remember?
Well, you don't get one in marriage.
You sure don't.
Don't even bring it in.
ain't no must be present to win. No, you got to be in there working.
You know, I heard this and I thought this was really good. I'm gonna say this before we go back. So I heard this, I thought it really good. The lady say Nike has a shirt that says "Just do it." The shirt don't say "I tried." Keep your relationship together. They don't give shirts to say "I tried." Well, I tried to. They don't do that. Keep your relationship together. Do what you have to do to keep your relationship together. Just do it.
Monique says, for some strange reason, the value is lost. I believe it's the trick of the devil. It is, but we gotta take some responsibility in that whole thing too. Because it's a decision on our part. We gotta stick it out. We gotta value not just the person, we gotta value the commitment and value the relationship, the marriage. We gotta value the marriage. And sometimes valuing the marriage means I'm putting up with somebody who I don't feel like they're worth nothing at the time. But I value what we have. I value what we're trying to work on. But if I hold on to it and work on it, take care of it, it'll increase in value.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Eventually, just like anything else.
Eventually,
the longer you hold on to it, you play the long game. Everything ain't quick. Play the long game.
Right. We definitely don't play the long game for relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the unpardonable sin? The unpardonable sin. What you can't come back from? Can you come back from infidelity?
It just depends on the person, man. What mine is may not be what yours is. But I know one thing: we can take a lot more than what we think we can take. Because if you can do it, you should be able to take it. Wow. If you can cheat, if you can lie, if you can steal, if you can put money back, if your partner is doing that, you should be able to forgive them for it. We are a lot harder on the people that we're in a relationship with than we are on ourselves. Oh my God. If we put ourselves to some of the standards we put other people through, oh my God. Dude, come on, man. Dude, sometimes we just need to take a look at ourselves, man.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, wow. Bro, that was...
Oh, wow. We ran through that.
We ran completely through that.
All right. So ready? All right. My final thought for this evening is this. Relationships, oh my God. Like relationships could be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. Relationships can also be the worst thing that happened to you. Marriage, all that could be the worst thing. It's all about your perspective. It's all about the perspective that you go in with to say, hey, this is going to work. But you have to do this from the beginning. This is going to work. Come hell or high water, we're going to make this thing work. We're going to do what we need to do to make this thing work because stuff is going to come. Oh, Jesus of Nazareth, it's going to come. But you can be ready for it when it comes. And there's nothing like building something together. As great as it is to build by yourself, there is no other fit in the world like y'all accomplish something together. And that's my final thought.
They gave us these fairy tales growing up. You had Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, you had Cinderella and the whole nine. And at the end of each fairy tale, they would say, and they lived happily ever after, the end. But you just saw how they got together. So how is it the end? They should say they went through some things, they had some work to do, and this was just the beginning. We put a lot of weight on the front end, but we don't put the work on the back end, and we miss out. And we expect the fairy tale life. We expect to get with somebody and everything to magically just live happily ever after. Happiness is something that is within you. I'm reminded of a quote by an author, Samuel Johnson. He says, "The fountain of content must spring up in the mind. And he who has so little knowledge of human nature to seek happiness by changing anything other than their own disposition will waste their life in fruitless efforts and increase the frustration they're trying to remove." it starts with you. It's not that person's job to make you happy. Happiness is your decision. It's yours to work on. And you got to look at who you are and what are you bringing to this relationship. If you want it to be good, be good. You want your relationship to be good, be good. Do what you have to do the work, and see, don't things work out better? That's our King speak for this week.
Oh boy, you did that,
man.
You broke that down so tough. I don't know if it was a poem or saying. I didn't know what it was.
Like, it was a quote. It was a quote. He said, much needed topic. Thank you. Thank you for everybody that listened, everybody that took your time out to hang out with us tonight. We appreciate you. We got to say next week, we're not going to be here next week. We want y'all to enjoy your Labor Day weekend, your Monday off. We're going to pick it up the following week. All right.
So we're going to be right back. We're going to be right back at you, too. I'm going to bite you on your neck.
So don't miss it. Don't miss it. We're going to skip Monday. We're going to come back the next week. We want y'all to enjoy your Labor Day. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Tell somebody about what we're doing. If you believe in what we're doing, you like what we're doing, spread the word. Also, subscribe to our podcast. It's available Apple, Google, Spotify, any of your favorite podcast platforms. You can go and check us out and listen to us whenever you feel like it. By all means, go and check your boys out. All right. Yep. We appreciate everybody. We're gonna catch y'all in 2 weeks.
All right. Y'all be blessed now.
All right. Peace out.